everyone's kind of been a lot more about themselves lately. So what you'll find is people start to build businesses in around themselves. And even when you hire staff, they might hang around you and get inspired by it and they're going to leave. So to sort of do that, like the best way to, in my opinion, is to either just subcontract, which is like person to person, which you can deal with now. But I think AI is going to be the big one that sort of takes over. And I've found some programs now that cost me $50 a month, which I was paying like a couple K for some of the boys to do. And a lot of it's just around content and captions and stuff like that. But in my mind, like with AI, unemotional. Don't have to pay super, don't have to pay taxes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't break up with anyone, no mental health issues or anything along those lines. It's just a program that's going to help you. Even ChatGPT, which is kind of like the hot thing at the moment, I've been using that for the past couple months, and I've built out like online courses through it. I've built out podcast structures through it. I've built out contracts through law through it, and I've sent them to my lawyer friends, and they hold up like solid. So you know what I mean? And someone sort of said that ChatGPT is like a calculator for words, where we use, like, we don't need to know long division anymore because we've got a calculator in front of us. We don't really need to know contract or planning or anything anymore because we've got ChatGPT in front of us. So there's always going to be an element of person to person there somewhere, but I think AI just speeds everything up, and it's unemotional. Doesn't think, doesn't feel, no super, no tax. Doesn't ask for holidays. You can hit them up at 9:30 at night. You can tap in. It's going to give you an answer straight away. So it's exciting. Like, a lot of people are going to hear this and they're going to go, "Fuck, I'm out of a job." But people, in the context of every part of life, all the guys with the right ideas have always used some form of labor, whether it's human labor, even back in the day, like slave labor, or in the farming industry, it was cow. Now we've got AI to use as labor. Everything is just going to be a lot quicker. And once everyone recognises it, the cream's always going to rise to the top. Whoever's the best, whoever's the smartest, they're always going to rise to the top. That's just the way history works.
Yeah, it's so true. Like it's funny.
Sorry, when I bring up AI, does it scare you or excite you?
Oh, me, I'm so excited about it.
Yeah.
So excited. Like, I love it. Like, I think, like you said, like it's an opportunity for everybody, but only some will take it, right? Like, I had a guy reach out to me probably about 18 months ago, and he said he was not a financial advisor, but like I don't know, like their assistant or something like that, like qualified, but and he said to me, he's like, "Man, I'm fucking really scared about AI." This was 18 months ago, right? And he goes, "Can you," and like, I'm not an expert at it, but he was like, "Hey man, like, what do you think? How long do I have left?" Like, he's talking like this. And I was like, dude, just fucking relax. Like, if you're thinking, like, you just need to understand that AI is only going to make you better. Like, I talk about it like with ChatGPT. Like, yeah, I can use it to write articles, but am I a writer? Like, do I know it, me as an individual? Do I know that what ChatGPT is actually sending to me or writing for me is actually a great article? I'm not a writer. No, there's no way. I can't tell, but a writer could, right? And so I was having a chat to one of our content writers, and he hasn't really looked at it, and I'm like, bro,
you're wasting your time.
I'm like, man, honestly, imagine you took advantage of this. I go, how long does it take you to write an article? He's like, I don't know, maybe 6 hours. I'm like, cool. How many can you do a week? What do you charge? And he was like, X. And I'm like, cool, so that's what you can make right now. I go, if you use ChatGPT, you could probably write 4 in the space of 1.
Yeah.
So you could literally quadruple the amount of income that you bring in from fucking using ChatGPT. And because you're a writer, you can review all of its content and you can actually prompt it to get a better result than what I can, who's not a writer. Yeah. So like, that's how I think of it, is like, it will just supercharge you.
Yeah, for sure. And like the same thing that I talked about before, when things I felt like were bad happening to me, emotional. So that guy was like fearful because he's a thing. So if you're fearful, your emotional IQ goes down. You just see problems. Where if you're light and free and see excited for every opportunity, you can see like take advantage of it. And asking people who know that and smarter than you, still very early in AI. So people are going to kill it over this next little phase. It's like being early into crypto, being early into social media, being early into Web 2.0. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whoever those who are earliest and recognize are the ones that are going to take advantage of it most.
Yeah.
And like, you look at a lot of skill sets that, like, that you hire for, a lot of it's replaceable. There's no one's irreplaceable in my opinion, even like ourselves in terms of this business. We'll have an emotional attachment to it because we built it, blah, blah, blah. But like a lot of the mundane tasks that you normally hire out for in terms of like PAs or EAs or along those lines can just be automated through AI, which is exciting for us. Like, you know what I mean? I'm paying $50 a month for video technology, where instead of paying like content creators over that little period of a month, like 10x, 20x, 30x of what you normally pay.
Yeah, it's interesting. I did an interview with Davey Fogarty.
Yeah, I like him. He's the hoodies, the
Oodie, yeah,
Oodie,
the Oodie, before Christmas. And one of the profound things, like I'm a big picture guy, I just love thinking about, okay, where's the world going to be in 5 years? Like that, I'll spend probably too much time on YouTube, like researching and listening to people, and often can find myself getting caught up in that. And one of the most profound things that Davey said, which, you know, you kind of understand is true, but it kind of hit me in the face a little bit. I'm like, what do you think the future is of this? And he's like, I don't care. He's like, honestly, he goes, because the value accrues to people who don't think about the future too much. They react to when things happen, right? So you can say, well, I think AI will be here, and yes, that should and can have an impact on what kind of business you build, but inevitably it's the people who react the quickest right now who accrue the value. So
always,
you know, like it's like, think about if you were to leverage let's use the writer as an example, you know, that we were just talking about. If he leveraged AI right now and quadrupled his income, he would be in a much better position to build a business for the 5-year vision than what it would be if he was only thinking about that 5-year vision. That was profound for me. Was like, the world belongs to the quick, not the big, right? And so, you know, you look back at the best entrepreneurs, they have this vision for the future, but they're actually the best at executing right now.
Right now, yeah. That's probably the best way to put it.
Elon, these guys, like...
And it's even just taking the time to understand it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just like doing some research or getting a good TikTok algorithm, which we talked about earlier. Like, there was a phase over Christmas where all I was getting was just AI programs and AI recommendations, and like my mind was thinking, all right, cool, like how can I use this, and then bundle up in the course, and then like, this is where my mind was going. So but yeah, like a lot of people like live out of fear, and a lot of people don't really have those entrepreneurial minds where they see the opportunity and everything. So, and it's always going to be that way, bro. No matter whatever happens after AI, the next thing is going to happen. It's always the same pattern recognition. Like, people are going to get onto it early. Like, health's a good example. Like, everyone knows how to get healthy, but how many people are overweight or obese? Like, everyone knows AI is coming, but like, how many people are going to actually use it? Like, it's just rinse and repeat, but the thing changes.
Yeah, like, you know, it's like information isn't scarce, right? There's enough of it out there. Like, there's nothing that unless it's science that's that's truly innovating. Like, everything else is written in a book somewhere. It's on the internet for you to find, but it's like execution is inevitably it's the thing that will dictate your future. And
there's still always going to be human to human contact, because accountability is always important. Like, we have mentors, we have parents. Like, you're going to be a dad soon, so you can sort of chat GPT all that stuff you want, but like eventually you're going to have to be accountable to someone. Like, it's hard to be accountable to a computer, in my opinion, because some people aren't even accountable to their own alarms. Like, the alarm will go off and they'll hit snooze 20 times, you know what I mean? So you still need that person-to-person contact, but whoever can figure out the chat GPT and the person-to-person contact thing later, they're the ones that are going to kill it. Someone is out there right now. Obviously, Elon's started chat GPT. This is just some young kid who's just going to figure it out, and he's just going to be the next guy, and then whatever next. It's just pattern recognition, man, honestly.
Yeah, and that's the other thing as well, is like, we often... and that's, I think, I reckon if you asked me this 5 years ago, I would have been like, you get caught up in like looking at someone like Elon and thinking you have to have this massive idea, when inevitably you don't necessarily have to have this massive idea. You have to have a vision, but it doesn't have to be like fucking electronic cars or like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's more like you just have to be able to execute over and over and over again, build discipline, have an idea, execute on the idea, and kind of drag your business continuously to that vision.
Imagine explaining Google to someone in the 60s. Like, there's going to be a phone in front of you. You can type anything in the whole wide world. You don't have to go to a library and search for it, and it's going to give you the answer. They would have gone, fuck, the world's about to end. Like, we're all going to be done. I mean, that's what AI is going to be for everyone in like 20 years. That's what social media was for us now. Like, hey, mum, I'm jumping on my phone. I'm going to post a photo of me. Like, now she's on Instagram and she's on Facebook. So it's just the same shit, bro. Honestly, it's just the same shit over and over again.
Yeah. Fuck, AI is crazy.
It is crazy.
Think, like, you know, I don't even, like, this is what I mean. I get caught up thinking about what it'll be in like 10 years.
But imagine explaining this in like early 90s. Like, hey, you're going to watch everything on here. You can take a photo. You can call anyone in the world. You can get in contact with the most famous person in the world. People are going, like, you're fucking crazy. And it's like that thin.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think the other thing is like Jobs didn't know that was the thing, right? Like, you know, he was building a computer first. Right. And so it is like, you know, Jobs never sat there and said, you know, like, this is the most revolutionary thing ever built in the world, ever, you know, apart from some of the early stuff like electricity and all that. But like, he didn't know that this was the thing until it was the moment in time that he had the idea for it. But that idea wasn't his first idea. And I like that as a concept, is like, it's kind of coming back to what that...
You don't have to know the answer
straight
away.
Nah.
Yeah.
Like, you never know the answer. Like, you think you do, but really it's what you build. Like, you know, how many people have the same ideas as, say, someone else, but it's like it's inevitably always the execution.